Now, you know who is spending his last weeks in office filing lawsuits and ranting about baseless claims of voter fraud. He even fired his own cybersecurity chief, who determined that this election was the most secure in American history. So what is he doing? What is the strategy? Does anybody understand what's happening? I'll start with you, Anna. Do you understand?
No, because I don't understand crazy. I don't understand desperation. Look, I think he's trying to assimilate what happened, and he's incapable of it because he lacks the maturity and he lacks the psychological capacity to understand that he is a loser. He's a loser. Papi, perdiste las elecciones. You ain't gonna swear in on January 20th. Joe Biden's gonna swear in. I mean, you know, if you need people to explain it to you, I can call Leslie Jones and we can get her to explain it to you on the phone, shout it out. So I think it's, but listen, right. I'm not even surprised at Trump, right? Because we know he's this immature man baby who just can't deal with stuff. I'm so disappointed at all the people around him enabling him. The bureaucrats, the political appointees, the Republicans in the Senate. It is so shameful. I mean, I keep thinking, children are going to study this in history in 50 years, or they're going to talk about the crazy man and all the cowards who enabled him. It is not an exit strategy. It's just, like I said from day one, President Loco came in loco, goes out loco.
Right. And so what's going to come out of all of this, Joy? I mean, really, what do we get from this as a nation?
It's interesting because some people are saying that democracy may not survive this administration. But I don't know. Like Anna says, the moving vans are warming up. He's out. All this is just a bunch of baloney, all this propaganda right now. I mean, Rudy Giuliani's making $20,000 a day to defend nothing, basically. So it'll be over soon. But I think that what we're left with are the losers and the winners. And the winners are, this guy Krebs is a winner. Vindman, Dr. Rick Bright, Captain Brett Cruzier. These are the patriotic Americans who risked their jobs, who said the truth. And Lindsey Graham and the losers in the Republican leadership should take a page and don't lecture us anymore about patriotism or about putting country over party, or rather putting party over country, which is what they did. I don't want to hear it, but I do think that our democracy will survive. Look at how smoothly the actual election ran. And how many people came out. He won by Biden won by 5 million votes. I mean, it'll be okay. I have faith. I do.
Okay. And Sarah, when you see this kind of mess, what do you think? What do you think the message to the American people from the White House is?
Well, in firing Krebs, this guy had a lot of bipartisan support. People on both sides said he did a really amazing job. But I guess I keep thinking, January 20th, that changes anyway. He could be hired back. This isn't The Apprentice. Trump doesn't get the final word on who's fired. But I also find Trump hard to follow because in response to this firing, he said that the only thing secure about our 2020 election was that it was virtually impenetrable by foreign powers. On that, the Trump administration takes great credit. So they'll take credit that the foreign powers didn't interfere, but the domestic part failed. He'll tell people to keep voting or keep counting the votes in Pennsylvania, but stop the vote in Arizona. He'll also say that the presidential part of the election was rigged, but that they allowed the Senate and how well that went on the same ticket. If confusion was the goal, mission accomplished, because I'm confused. I think there's no strategy to this. I think he's going full scorched earth on this.
Sonny, when you hear all of this, what do you think the takeaway for the American people is from this? Do we have to start looking at the kinds of things we allow a president to do?
Well, no question about that. But I mean, this president certainly has tried to just blow up all democratic norms. And I think what he's doing is he's still sort of throwing that red meat to his base. I mean, you have people marching in D.C. saying that he is the winner. And I think he needs that. So this was, and they believe that there was actual voter fraud, widespread voter fraud. And so I think what he's doing is this, in this sort of revenge firing, he fired the guy who basically said, listen, there were no massive improprieties. There was no fraud. This was one of the most secure, or the most secure election in American history. And I think he, fired him so that his followers would not believe that. I think that's out of Trump's playbook, right? It's don't believe the truth, believe these alternative facts. And I also actually, the more I think about it, I think his goal is sabotage. I think he's trying to delegitimize the election by doing things like this, but he's also trying to sabotage the transition, right? So he's gutting defense, he's gutting the State Department so that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have a really hard time when they start trying to save the soul of this country and all the crises that we've been dealing with for the past 4 years.
Well, I think the good news for all of us is that, he can try to gut it all, but, when you have the kind of people that Joe Biden will put in place, it will be easier to readjust to get us where we need to go. And before we go, I want to thank Jimmy Fallon for putting together the concession speech America needs to hear. Please take a look.
My fellow Americans, a short time ago, Joe Biden beat me in the election, and not only did he win, he won by a lot, actually. Therefore, it is time for me to step aside, because let's face it, I wasn't probably on my game, and I wasn't doing so well, and I'm the only president in history to lose the popular vote twice and to get impeached. I humbly concede to Joe Biden. The American people have responded, and they said to me, "You're fired. Get out."